So right out of the box, guys, the WEN Track Saw, it's the cheapest one you get, 6.5 inch. It's the model CT1065. Model numbers are not typically arbitrary, right? The 1065, of course, it's a 10 amp motor and a 6.5 inch blade. So there's plenty of reviews on the saw itself. But I thought I'd just take a wee minute and take a look at some of the controls in a bit more detail, and just out of the box, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the quality of it. It looks pretty good to me for the money. I mean, it's plus tax in, it was like 150 bucks Canadian. And initially looking at it, and you look at it on Amazon or one of the online retailers, and it looks like all plastic. It's not. The shoe is actually aluminum. The side cover is looks like white metal casting of some sort as well, and well, I shouldn't say aluminum, it's maybe a pot metal of some sort. And yeah, there's quite a bit of plastic on the saw, but I was surprised that the grip is actually rubberized on both sides of the grip, a rubberized grip here as well. I didn't really expect that. So just a quick look at some of the controls here, guys, because there is a lot of controls and it's kind of difficult to take them all in when you're looking at them online, right? So here's the plunge lock. You have to depress it, of course, in order to be able to plunge, as well as the trigger is locked by the same action. Yeah, so you can see, of course, there's a bias spring on the bottom there in order to return it from its plunge. There's a spindle lock here for changing the blade, of course, and 3 different modes of operation that you can actually set it to. That is right now is on the blade change setting, so you can actually pull the trigger. Let me just lift this up here and I'll show you that it actually goes into a detent, I should say, where actually clearly there's a pin and a cam that engages in that position there. I've heard some people saying it's jammed. It's not jammed. It's designed to stay in that position so you can access the spindle here, which of course is an Allen key that they provide you. Easy enough to actually take it out of that lock. Just depress the trigger lock and the trigger again, and it'll come back. And it does actually strangely provide you with an Allen key situated here for stowage, which is a wee bit weird to me, but I didn't design it. Would have been better on the plug end, I think. But anyway, yeah, so that is the blade change mode. And you have a free plunge mode here and a scoring cut, which again, just there's a stop, a built-in stop that only allows you to plunge the blade X amount of millimeters, just a few millimeters there below the shoe line. And of course the free plunge position will allow you to go to its maximum limit depending on where you set the depth gauge here. This is a depth gauge here. As you can see, I've got it set for 1 inch, and there's 2 different modes of operation. There's another little cam here that allows you to set it for without the track or with the track, depending on what mode whether you want to use the saw with the track. I don't know why you'd want to use a track saw with the track, but you might, I suppose, on a rare occasion. Couple of it's capable of bevel cutting, of course, right? So you can set the bevel to 2 thumb screws basically that allow you to loosen it off and tilt it. And of course there's an indexing here. Would have been nice if that had been colorized, but I suppose I could do that, especially at 45, I suppose. But anyway, same as the depth settings, just molded into the plastic. These here can seem a wee bit confusing when you first look at them in the manual, but in reality, they're really quite straightforward. Both of this is a forward and aft fine setting here for the cam, so that you can take the slop out of the track. And as you can see, you can loosen it. Again, just a thumb screw. And this little tab here, again, this is a wee bit unclear in the manual if you're not actually looking at the saw, allows you to adjust the cam. Obviously, that's the slot that the track will ride in, one of the slots. And you can adjust the cam here on both the forward and aft setting here. Once you've got it, you can simply lock down the thumb screw in order to lock the cam in whatever position you like. Yeah. Of course, this is the track lock setting right here. It's a bit hard to do this with one hand, guys. You can pull it up and change its position. Obviously, you can see the little tab there that would lock into the track. Pull it up again and unlock it from the track. And there's an anti-kickback provision here, and it actually defaults to the on position. So if you want to move this saw backwards, you'd have to actually go back to the 0 position. I'm not sure if you can see the markers there. Put the index to the 0 position, and of course what you're doing is down below is just like a cam cleat. Anybody who's familiar with boats or sailing at all, it's like a cam cleat arrangement. A single cam just engages on the track as a brake, so you can't would minimize the likelihood of kickback. Although even WEN themselves seem to recognize that that could potentially be a pain in the ass, because it has a tag here asking you for your feedback, and on the other side mentioning that it can be removed but at a risk of higher possibility of kickback. But anyway, I guess that's for everybody to decide for themselves. A couple of other things I noticed, a wee bit strange. You see that indexing mark there and there? They're supposed to let you know where the limits, let me just dial this off so we can go all the way, where the limits of the blade are as far as when you plunge it. I'm going to try and do this one hand here, guys, bear with me. But I don't know if you can see, let me adjust that. Clearly the blade actually passes both of those marks. Let me just move it here. I'm pretty close on the aft one, but certainly the forward side of the blade is going to pass that mark. If the camera angle is picking up that, but anyway, simple scrape would sort that out once you've figured out where it actually lands. What else is there here to show you? I don't know. I think that's maybe about it. Yeah, my impressions of this saw is it's actually it's pretty good. I'm patiently waiting for my tracks to arrive in the mail and go out and do some cutting with it. So anyway, that's it. That's as I said, cheapest track saw on the market pretty much, guys, but it'll certainly suit my needs just as a hobbyist. CT1065, again, 10 amp motor, 6.5 inch blade, right? I hope that's helpful to somebody. Oh, of course there is a dust extraction capacity here, guys. It does come with set of brushes, worryingly, and an adapter for the kind of wee elbow for the dust extraction. I've heard a few guys saying that, quite certain you can see the bridging here on the plastic, that those are good for trapping the, you know, the cuttings from the blade, and they plug right quick. So I think I'll take my Dremel tool to those probably right quick and get those out of the way. But again, I guess I'll have to put this saw through it. I've never even plugged it in, and I'm making a video about it, so I'm making the assumption it works. Right, that's it, boys. I hope this was helpful to somebody. It does indeed run in reasonably quiet, and the bearings feel okay, reasonable. Do yourself a favor, boys, read the manual. I know nobody likes doing it, but it pays off in spades in the end. So if you're in like me, the manual will bugger off into oblivion before too long. But you should be aware, guys, that you can actually download a copy of the manual, a PDF file. If you go to wenproducts.com, you can pull up on the search line, of course, just look for the CT1065, and you can actually, I don't want to waste your time here, right there, click to view the product manual, and in no time at all it will actually download a copy. It will download a copy of the manual in a PDF format. Same manual, of course, yeah. And very handy. You have this in for me anyway, in a digital format. You may or may not agree, guys, but to me, what speaks volumes about the quality of the product and company is actually how comprehensive and how well written their manuals are. And this to me is a very, very good manual indeed. Illustrated parts catalog there detailing all the parts for service purposes and contact numbers. To me, that's a good sign.